Firstly, this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going on a road trip into the Medoc. In this video, we're going to see our first actual fort. The drive that we're going to take you on is part of the oldest area of wine production in the Medoc and the Haut-Médoc. The wines were so old that the Knights Templar put some of the first wines into production for the route de Compostela. What are you having?
I'm having, for a change, I'm having dos de cabillaud, which is tail of cod, with mousseline of aubergine and chorizo and confit of tomato.
For a drink.
I am having a Kia, which is coming now, Kia Medoc can, which has got Medoc wine in. What are you having, Richard?
I'm having pav of beurre, which is veal, with girolles and apricots. And for my dessert, that's my main. For my dessert, I'm having millefeuille. I've also ordered a little beer. I think it's a Belgian beer called Jupiler, and we've got a bottle of water coming. It's been really hot this last couple of days in Bordeaux. Louise is having a millefeuille as well. That's it.
Okay. At least we've made a decision, eh?
Yeah.
I'd have had that chocolate thing, but I quite like the sound of the millefeuille.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? It's a celeriac mash, isn't it?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Honestly, it's absolutely mental, that is. Yeah.
St Pierre Church, Civrac-en-Médoc. Some archaic sculptures, perhaps predating the Christian building, possibly indicate the establishment of a Gallo-Roman temple on the site. The building preserves a 12th century Romanesque apse and traces of fortifications rare in the Medoc.
So, this is the church that's outside the restaurant Clocher. Carving on this is superb, isn't it?
Oh.
There's all the horses.
Oh.
We're in the Medoc, the honour tour, which is this by the side of me. I'm going to go down to Pauillac, where the wine comes from. Then we're going to go down to Fort Médoc, which is a line of 3 fortresses across the Gironde.
Honour Tour or Honour Tower. The centrepiece of a defensive complex consisting of 4 towers at the time of its splendour. It dates from the 14th century. However, a castle existed well before this time, with ancient documents mentioning a castello cid dicitur sparo in the 12th century. Through the marriage of Eleanor of Aquitaine to Henry Plantagenet or Henry Plantagenet, the castle entered the Anglo-Gascon fold for nearly 3 centuries until 1453.
If you like the video, can you give us a thumbs up please? It really helps us with the algorithm. It tells the algorithm to push the video to more people. If you could do that, that'd really help us out. Thanks very much.
Pauillac history. In 1777, Lafayette, a French aristocrat and military officer, arrived in Bordeaux and set sail from Pauillac to America. There his role was decisive in the American War of Independence, commanding American troops in several battles including the Siege of Yorktown. To commemorate his legacy, a bronze stele representing his ship La Victoire is erected on the edge of the marina on the Plaza Lafayette. On the stele can be read in French, "From here on March the 25th, 1777, embarked Marie-Joseph Paul Yves Gilbert Mortier, Marquis de Lafayette, with the hope of joining the Americas." After returning to France, he was a key figure in the French Revolution of 1789 and the July Revolution of 1830, also known as the Second French Revolution. Arcins is a former hospital commandery of the Hospitallers of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem. Our Lady of Arcins, or Notre Dame d'Arcins, although its construction dates back to the 19th century, Notre Dame d'Arcins has an even longer history, strongly influenced by the Templars, who had the first structure built in 1300. They were also responsible for one of the first vineyards in the Haut-Médoc at the Châteaux d'Arcins. The commune of Arcins itself was a former commandery of the Order of Malta, the Hospitallers as they are also called. It is even believed that they were at the origin of the creation of the parish.
This is the Knights Templar chapel at Arcins. See if it's open. Never going to be able to get in there anyway. Nah, locked. Just to prove this is Arcins. Arcins in the Medoc is the first place that the Knights Templar, well, anybody cultivated vines for wine consumption, and it was for people on the route to Compostela. And there's a famous chateau called the Châteaux d'Arcins, which is just round the corner, and I'm just going to quickly show you that. So there it is, the Châteaux d'Arcins. So as I say, these are the oldest, or they were, they're not now because they had blight in about the 17th century and all the old vines got killed. But that's basically what it is, yeah. It's the oldest area of vines cultivated vines in Europe, in France, by the Knights Templar for wine consumption on the route to Compostela. these grapes here. Mother vine! I've always wanted to come here. Well, since I found out about Margaux, anyway. And these are the vines of Margaux. And I don't know which is Chateau Margaux that it's named after. But honestly, we've just driven through the town. And there's gotta be 30 chateaux in the town. Margaux. That's another chateau. That's a chateau there. That's a chateau there. There's another chateau there. And there's another chateau there. And of course, this is just to prove that we've been here, or that we are here. Go. Fort Médoc. This fort was the creation of the great French military architect called Vauban. He also built a fortress citadel at the town of Allée, across the estuary from Fort Médoc. Either side of the estuary forts of the Gironde are star forts that were considered to be the height of military engineering back in the day. The first image is of how it would have looked back in the day. The second image is kind of a representation of the fort where it lies and the waterworks that we use to stop any sneak attack on the fort. The third picture in the video is of the Fort Médoc again, but with the breakdown of its constituent parts, like the barracks. And please pause the video if you'd like to study the pictures of Fort Médoc.
Fort Médoc, built between 1689 and 1721 by Louis XIV's desire to lock the Gironde estuary with the citadel of Blaye and Fort Patay, and thus protect Bordeaux from any enemy fleet.
Is that the Sun King there? Louis XIV on top. Is that Louis?
Fort Médoc is a Vauban-style military monument with a history as troubled as it is fascinating. In 1930, once the military had officially withdrawn for the last time, ownership was transferred to the village of Cusack, Fort Médoc. For several years, the site was a wasteland where the removal of building stones and rampant vegetation left the monument dilapidated, half-hidden ruins at best.
That behind me is the entrance gate to Fort Médoc. We're on the Gironde estuary, and that is what it looks like. That's just the front gate, that is. I started building it in 1659, I think. This is the inner courtyard, and these buildings here, I think, are the barracks. I might be wrong. You can see there's ruins there. Big long wall at the back. That there. I think they're barracks. Go on. These are the barracks on my right. This building is the bakery. There, those two ovens. I think they've been restored. You can't go in, but they've been making bread. But they're the bread ovens.
It was finally the inhabitants of Cusack Fort Médoc and voluntary associations who, from the 1960s, undertook the clearing of the land and the first restoration works.
It's a big old fort, this is.
Since then, the restoration has continued and a new page in the history of Fort Médoc has been written with its inscription on the UNESCO World Heritage List under the Bolt of the Estuary in 2008. Fort Médoc is one of the major sites of the Vauban network.
Maya? Maya? Hiya? Hiya?
Oi!
That's oi. Oi! What? So, was this the magazine then? Was this the magazine then? Yeah. Oh, lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Come on.
One photograph
Gunports.
Le Gros, 1899.
Yeah, 91 I think. This is what it looks like from the estuary side. And you can't really see it. Allée is over the other side of that river. And there's another citadel there where I actually had the idea for doing this. It's actually the first video that we ever did, that we ever came out. We did a restaurant called La Gavroche and we did the citadel at Allée. After I've done this one, that'll be the next video. Both of these forts were built by Vauban. And there's another one in the middle where we are now. There's an island just out there. There's another island in the middle of the estuary. And that has a fort on it called Fort Pate. Yeah. Interesting, no?
Three forts to protect Bordeaux.
Yeah, to protect Bordeaux from the English turning up. They're taking Bordeaux and making a fortune out of the wine. Because we'd have just stolen it off them and gone, that's ours.
Didn't they flood it if they felt like they needed to?
That was the Dutch that were into that. Maybe they did, I don't know.
This building is at the back of Fort Médoc. Let's go and find out what it is.
That is the magazine. Louise wouldn't have told you it's the magazine.
So it's the munitions.
It's the
Picture of the thing.
It's the magazine. This is the chapel. There's modern quarries. It's the back end of the chapel. The infirmary next to the chapel. She's leaving me. They couldn't have got more cobbler, could they? It's like, hey, cobbler, do you want them? Well, I want them really cobbler, actually. So all of this would have been moated, wouldn't it? Enough of that. So we took a punt on a restaurant. Well, Louise did. She was ordered, as she is from time to time, to go and find a good bloody restaurant, else there'll be one of them. No, not really. To go and find a good restaurant. So anyway, of course she did, and we ended up at
Auberge du Clocher, which is in Civrac-en-Médoc. For my drinks, I had a Kia Medocaine which is Medoc wine with something in, I'm not sure what.
It's kind of like Pinot, I'd have thought, that sort of thing, but with Medoc wine in it.
Yes. And what drink did you have?
I had the same. I had the Kia Medocine, and I also had a Jupiler beer, which is Belgian beer, and we had a litre of water as well because it was quite warm. And for afters, I had a coffee, and Louise had
a petit café crème,
which is a coffee,
yeah,
but with dairy stuff in it.
So did you have a starter?
Neither of us had starters, unfortunately.
Why is that?
We had been to the Cathedral St Andre in Bordeaux in the morning and had a breakfast.
We ordered the drinks and decided that we only wanted a main meal and no dessert.
Yeah, and no starter.
Because we were really full. So what did you have for your main then?
My main, I was actually bullied into it. I actually wanted a piece of beef.
Steak and chips.
Steak and chips. But anyway, right, Louise put me right and ordered me to have this horrific thing. It wasn't horrific. It was veal with apricots that were roasted and celeriac mousseline. So it's like a really fine mash, really fine. I'm really pleased I had it. Steak and chips, you can keep that any day of the old week.
You did see somebody else have it and said, oh,
well, it did look superb. I can't think of the superlatives for it. It was absolutely fantastic. It's one of the tastiest meals I've ever had, I think.
It's a nice surprise for you.
Oh, it was beautiful.
I had dos de cabillaud, which is tail of cod, with... It was aubergine.
Aubergine, that's right. It was like a baba ganoush.
Yeah, it was very, very fine. It was like a mousseline of aubergine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like this little crisp of something. Not sure it was. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. It was lovely.
And so, what did you have for your pudding?
Well, the pudding that I wasn't going to have.
Louise wasn't going to have a pudding.
Yes. I had millefeuille with praline and a custard. It was like a creamy custard, wasn't it? There's lots of vanilla pods in it and puff pastry.
Puff pastry, yeah. Well, that was the millefeuille, wasn't it?
Very crispy.
All built in house. It looked great, and it was the crispiest millefeuille you've ever had in your life.
Oh yeah.
It was good.
I did struggle to cut it, as you'll probably see.
Yeah, so did I.
But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If it was that good, then what would you score it?
Well, I've been throwing 11s around.
You won't do that, will you, again?
No, I'm not throwing an 11
No.
about. What I'll be throwing around today is, it's just, the 11s are really good, but I want to, this is as high as they're ever going to go, to a 12. The setting was lovely, the waitress was fantastic, the meal was just next level, everything about it was just fantastic, really enjoyed it.
So you'd recommend it then?
I would definitely recommend it, and I would score it a 12. Would you recommend it, and what would you score it, Louise?
I would definitely recommend it because I really enjoyed my meal. It was lovely, and I'm going to give it 11 as well. Because I like saying 11.
11.
11.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 11 for my meal. The flavours were there.
Louise said she wasn't going to have fish.
I'm not having fish.
I'm not having fish. I had a taste of it, and the chorizo crumb. Oh, lordy, and then a few more
nice
lordies.
Bit of heat, wasn't it?
Oh, it was just fantastic with a crunch through it as well. It was just fantastic.
Yes, it was lovely.
So you're going to recommend it, yeah?
I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to give it an 11.
Cool. The meal
Cost $93.50. So it's a little bit on the pricey side, but honestly, it was well worth it. Yes.
Right.
So, if you like the video, to give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, and ding the notification bell, please. And go on to our socials, they're listed below in the description. We'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.